Look around any old European city, fella. The doorways, the windows, the cathedral ceilings. Built 3 times taller than any human needs them, and nobody asked who they were originally built for.
You inherited an apartment and never wondered why the ceilings were sized for a different species.
Every ancient civilization wrote about the same thing. Giants, the Bible, the Quran, Greek myths, Norse myths, Sumerian tablets, cultures with zero contact, describing the same beings.
5 cultures, same species, no group chat. Giggity, that's not folklore, that's testimony.
Goliath, fella. Old Testament. 6 cubits and a span. 9'9", 3 meters. Not symbolism. The actual measurement in the text. Book of Numbers. Israelites scout the promised land and report, quote, "We were as grasshoppers in their sight."
3 meters tall, documented in the most read book in human history. And we treat it as poetry. Giggity, at what point does poetry become eyewitness?
Grasshoppers in their sight is the most metal line ever written about feeling small at a party.
Book of Enoch names them Nephilim, offspring of beings that came down from somewhere else.
5 separate religious texts from civilizations with no contact describe the same beings. Same physical description, same origin, same end, wiped out by a flood. Either every culture invented the same lie, or they were describing something they actually saw.
Josephus, 1st century historian, cited by modern academics for everything else he wrote. About giants, quote, "Their bodies were so large and their faces so utterly unlike normal human faces that it was astonishing to see them."
Josephus saying Caesar existed, that's history. Josephus saying giants existed, that's myth. Same author, same book, same handwriting. Giggity, somebody picked which sentences to believe.
Walk into any European armory, fella. The Wallace sword in Scotland, 5'4", ceremonial Zweihanders in German museums, over 6 feet. Real combat weapons are sized for the hands that wielded them. Officially, these are decorative.
Decorative for who? Nobody alive can swing it. Nobody alive performs the ceremony.
Unless it's a guts-type warrior from Berserk.
And here's where it gets uncomfortable, fella. We still produce them. Robert Wadlow, American, 8'11", died 1940. Fyodor Makhno, Russian, 9'3", both photographed, both documented, both real, both proof the genetic blueprint for that scale is still in the human gene pool.
The genes for 9-foot humans are alive in the population right now, and nobody asks where they came from. Giggity, that's not a missing chapter, that's a missing book.
Genes for that body size didn't appear from nothing. They were inherited from someone. Whoever that someone was, they're not in the textbook.
So now ask the third question, fella. If the genes are still surfacing, what stopped the original carriers?
Every text says the same thing. A flood, a reset, a line drawn in human history that erased what came before. We inherited the wreckage and forgot we were tenants.
Here's what I actually think, fella. The giants weren't metaphor. They were ancestors, a previous wave of humanity. Larger, stronger, older than the timeline you were taught. Something ended them. What survived? The genes occasionally surfacing, doorways still standing, weapons still in display cases, and every culture's oldest book trying to warn the next generation what came before.
If you walked into a museum tomorrow and saw a sword you couldn't lift, would that change your mind? Or would you still call it ceremonial? Giggity, that's the actual question.
The official story requires you to dismiss every culture's foundational text, every oversized weapon, every disproportionate doorway, every recurring genetic outlier. To accept the timeline you were taught, you have to discard most of the actual evidence.
Maybe the fairy tales weren't fairy tales at all. Maybe they were the last witnesses describing what they saw before someone decided we should forget. The world wasn't always built for us. We just inherited the place after the previous tenants left.